everybody. We are going to get ourselves started here in just a couple moments. Sorry for the delay. And how they say it, one of those days. Marie Houston, how are you? Just heard your voice.
Doing fine, Jonathan. Doing fine. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, we've been wearing your story out here lately, haven't we?
Yeah, you have, but hey, it's all good. It is all true.
Uh-huh. That tells you every single story has been amazing, but sometime when you bundle all the kind of stuff you've been dealing with all together.
It's amazing.
Yes, indeed. It's mind-boggling to a lot of folks.
I gave a few samples out to some people, and man, I got about 3, 4, 5 orders. Because she tried them. She had like a knee problem and back or something. And 3 days she called me saying, I want that. She's already placed an order. Okay. It speaks for itself.
Yeah. What can we say? What can we say? And that just tells you one big thing right there is that when you can get it in somebody's body, that's the game changer, because then they feel it for themselves. It's not just you talking.
Exactly.
They feel it for themselves. They turn around and start telling you what is.
It's amazing.
They'll tell you how good the product is.
Oh yeah, and that's what she did, and some others. Wow, it's amazing.
What part of the country are you in again?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati, Ohio. All right, yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Hey, Wallace Garrett, welcome. Good. Nice to have you with us. We have Valerie with us. Carol Washington has joined us, and Bob Evans has joined us for today. So happy to have you all with us. We're going to have a brief presentation this evening. We are, I know this may sound kind of crazy, but we are still dealing with the aftermath of that flooding down here in Fort Lauderdale. It was historic flooding. And I thought that it just didn't really affect me. I really thought that I had no effect at all. But turns out the storage unit where we had all of our personal items stored, they decided to close down because they had 3 inches of rain, 3 inches of water go through the entire facility. I said, well, it didn't happen to us. We were all safe. But not true. I just found a bunch of items in our unit we just found this past weekend that are absolutely ruined by the water. Water can be devastating. So anyway, we're still trying to make the adjustments from that. The one thing, this may or may not be good, but the one thing I had no concerns about was the mold that was there. Some people are paranoid and run from mold, but I had no fear whatsoever of the fact that there was mold in the area. I'll spray the place down and kind of make sure everything is sanitized. But you can ask me why later. Actually, you don't have to ask why. It's all about Microdaily. So I really believe that a robust immune system and a robust immune response is the key to your body being able to fight back anything. Doesn't matter what it is. It can fight back anything. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the amazing product Microdaily. There are some here that may be here for the first time. And if you end up having a question, feel free to ask your question. As we go on, I'm going to give you just a brief explanation as to how and why Microdaily is a big deal, why someone encouraged you to come to a presentation like this, and you may have gone to other presentations. This gives you another angle on how the product works and why. Well, they did you right because they really cared about you for them to suggest that you come to a presentation like this one today, because it is true. It's not normal. What we have is not normal. It's not a normal product by any stroke of the imagination. The company is not normal by any means. What we're dealing with are some very, very unusual and extraordinary things at our fingertips and at our disposal today. So I'm going to share a story with you before we get started. I'm searching for the story now, but while I'm searching for the story, please understand something, that the FDA has not evaluated any of the comments that are being made here this evening. None of these comments. Engage Global. Oh, by the way, my name is Jonathan Jones, and it's my privilege to be your host and moderator for this evening. And it's Tuesday, May the 16th. Yeah, May 16th, 2023. And neither Engage Global nor myself or any other co-hosts or individuals present conducting this meeting are claiming that MicroDaily or any of the Engage Global products are to be considered a treatment or cure for any disease state. So please understand that from the beginning. We're not the information being provided for information and educational purposes only. That's it. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. But this is information that you can take into consideration when making a decision about your health and well-being. So please keep that in mind. So that's the main purpose of this meeting. You're going to hear testimonials. Testimonials are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. But here recently, we've had some pretty remarkable testimonials that have just been explosive in how they function. And when I say testimonies are anecdotal, it's a true statement. And we have to tell you that by law. But at the exact same time, please keep in mind that when folks share their stories, they're telling you what they believe to be absolutely true. And folks are allowed. The United States Constitution allows people to be able to tell their own personal story, and they're allowed to talk about that. So, and that's all they're doing. They're telling their story, and you, the person who hears the story, can decide whether the story sounds like it's true or not. It's completely up to you as to what position you choose to take on that. So here's one story I think it would be worth hearing. I shared this with Dave Nemelka and Dr. Prasad this past Sunday. This woman, her name is Fulvia. Fulvia suffered with COVID. In fact, she is a COVID survivor. She, at this point in her life that she tells the story, was suffering from long COVID. And long COVID is brutal. There's a lot of folks that even to this day are still struggling with it. But listen as she describes what happened when she was able to come across micronutrients, okay? And you determine whether there's something worth listening to or not. And then I'll explain to you why she could make the statement.
Fulvia has a comment. Go ahead, Fulvia. You're a long hauler.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Since December 17th of 2020. I thought I just had the flu. 3 days later, my son says, "Oh no, I'm taking you to the doctor now." Because I couldn't move. I couldn't do nothing. I was so weak. High temperature, all that. So I went, and of course they said, "You have COVID." 20 minutes later, ambulance picked me up, took me to the hospital. I was hospitalized for 3 months and 2 months in rehab. I had to learn because I've been laid up so long. I was on the ventilator as well. I had to learn to walk and to do things by myself because my kids would have to assist me getting in and out of the bed, in and out of the shower. I couldn't even stand up to not even make myself a cup of tea or anything like that. I found out about micronutrients last July.
So, Fulvia, you said you were infected in December of 2020.
Yes.
So once again, that's just before the vaccines came out. And since then, you've had no vaccines and no boosters.
No.
Okay, but you just discovered the micronutrients, you said, in July?
Late June, actually, of 2022.
So you literally survived the worst of COVID.
Yes.
Wow.
5 months away. And since I started the micronutrients, so much improvement. I'm still on oxygen 24/7, but I can get out of the bed. I can do things for myself. I don't know if it's because I was laid up, but my body racked in pain from the back of my neck, my shoulders, my hips, my right knee, neuropathy in both my feet. They told me, my orthopedic said, my right knee, it was rubbing bone and bone. They would have to do a full knee replacement. Well, after micronutrients, because I didn't want no surgery. So I did try the shots. I did have therapy and all that fun stuff. But after micronutrients, this knee don't even bother me no more. It don't swell up no more, none of that. So, and the hips don't bother me. The shoulders don't bother me because I couldn't even lean on them. So I had to stay on my back the whole time if I try to rest. And sleepless nights. I had constipation, hemorrhoids, you name it, I had it. And since micronutrients, all of that is gone.
Wow.
Except the oxygen. I'm still on that.
How much micro daily are you taking, Fulvia?
I take 3 times a day.
Of the EMF?
EMF, yes.
Very
and
good.
I have the rest of Dr. Prasad's bundle, choice bundle.
The Dr. Prasad choice bundle?
Yes.
Okay.
My brain fog was also something that was bad. So I have been doubling up on the brain boost also. I take 2 in the morning and 2 in the evenings.
Okay. I understand that one. I've gone through COVID, but you talking my dose right there on that brain boost.
Mm-hmm.
What about the collagen? Are you taking that?
Yes, I do. I take everything else.
1 scoop twice a day?
No, just once a day.
You might want to go to twice a day. That will help with the joint issues. And you got to give your body something to work with as your body's trying to rebuild your lungs also. So all of that will help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's Fulvia's story. And again, as I mentioned, testimonials are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. What you heard her describe. She contracted COVID December of 2020. Think about it. December of 2020. She was 5 months hospitalized. She was living as a long hauler. She was suffering. She didn't come across micronutrients until June of 2022. That's about a year ago now. She was telling her story there. When was that? I think she told her story, I believe it was January of this year, was when that recording was made. Okay? So that's what we're dealing with here. She describes noticeable differences in the inflammation in her knees, noticeable difference in the neuropathy in her feet, noticeable differences in the pain in her shoulders, noticeable difference in her brain fog, noticeable differences in her breathing, noticeable differences in her being able to get up, get around, the energy needed to do for herself. Prior to that, her kids had to do everything for her. That's what she describes. Then micronutrients came along. So the question that you should be asking is, what's the big deal? What kind of micronutrients can do that? What exactly are micronutrients? Is that something that I need to know about? Is that something that that I could go to the store and get? Can my doctor give that to me? What exactly are these micronutrients that Fulvia was describing? And if that's what was going through your mind, you raise a good question, and I applaud you for thinking that way. You are a thinker, you're a curious person, and you are no longer in that category of saying to yourself, I've heard it all before, blah, blah, blah. Nope. You have, you're in a different category now. You're a different kind of person. And once again, I applaud you for that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what those micronutrients are. And I'm going to share one more story with you that you may find to be quite interesting as well. But we have this little science brochure that anyone can get access to, by the way. So any of you who decide you want to get a copy of this brochure, just speak to whoever it was that invited you here to this discussion today, and they'll give you a copy of this. And because you're probably not going to remember most of what I say. I don't remember most of what I say, to be quite honest with you. But I do know one thing. What we're talking about here, again, is not a treatment or cure for any disease. All we're talking about is daily nutrition, okay? But it's the kind of nutrition that makes a difference in living, right? Living. It's the kind of nutrition that makes it possible to live your best life. Now, how is it that nutrition is even a factor? You know, what if I eat clean? What if I eat a nice, healthy, balanced diet? What if I eat mostly, vegetables, and I don't eat fast food? Isn't that good enough? Well, let me just ask. Let's just see how many people here on this meeting tonight. Someone have a comment on that? Is it good enough? Someone just tell us. Unmute yourself. Is it good enough to just eat a good diet today? Because there's some folks here that's on this meeting right now who were not only eating a good diet, they were eating a good diet and they were supplementing with other things. So, Belinda, go ahead. Tell us. Is it good enough?
No, it's not, because it's a lot of nutrients that are missing from the foods that we're eating each and every day, even as we think we're eating the best things like grains and certain starches and certain meats or fish or whatever. A lot of the nutrients are missing from them now, as opposed to 50 years ago, 100 years ago.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I think that just about everyone who's here tonight, if you've been to any of these presentations, you are now aware of that the food today is not the same food that your great grandmother had access to back in the early 1900s. It's not the same food. They have done everything they could to try to improve the food. Science has done that. So they genetically re-engineered the food to make it so that it would be a higher yield on an acre of land, resistant to pests, resistant to freezing, resistant to overwatering, resistant to chemicals like weed killer. So they've made the food so that it's resistant to weed killer. So as a result of their modifying it, they stripped out a lot of the nutrients. They gave it certain improvements, but they took certain things away. In certain countries, many countries around the world, the bread that's eaten here in this country, it's banned in most other countries around the world. You want to know why? Because there's something in the bread during the manufacturing process that's toxic. It's a chemical. It's a chemical used in certain manufacturing processes. And other countries, reject that chemical. Therefore, they reject the bread that's produced in this country. They don't want the wheat from this country because of that component in it. China, for example, China won't accept corn from the United States. Now, here's a country where rat is on the menu. They'll eat rats, but they won't eat the corn. That's grown in the United States. We'll try to wrap your mind around that one. But there's something unusual about the food here. Unusual about it. It's been modified genetically. But what we have access to now is the world's most scientifically validated micronutrient supplements. So what's been taken out of the food essentially is a micronutrient. And those micronutrients, Dr. Prasad knew where to get them. But he didn't just do this on his own. He's a brilliant man. But what pointed him in this direction, what got Dr. Prasad going down this road, was that the United States government decided that they wanted the troops on the battlefield to perform optimally. So this product, MicroDaily is what it's called, was originally formulated for the United States troops. This is what it used to look like. It came in a packet like that. You can see it folded over in half right here. And it was called MMF, Military Micronutrient Formula. And it was designed to fit right here into the pockets of these army fatigues of the soldiers on the battlefield. So they could be running around, dodging bullets, dodging bombs, eating toxic food just to try to stay alive. But if they could pop 2 of these capsules in their body in the morning and 2 in the evening, they would have, their life would be sustained with optimal performance. They would be able to perform optimally. That's what the government asked for. They wanted a micronutrient that could do that. They put the word out, and every vitamin company in this country could have said, wait a minute, we already got a vitamin that does that. Here it is. It's a Flintstone vitamin. No, you don't like that? Okay, well, here's a 1-a-day vitamin. No, you don't like that one? Okay, well, here's a Centrum. Here's Centrum. This is a men's only vitamin. Take this one. Not good enough. No vitamin company in this country could provide the evidence needed to prove that their vitamin that was already in existence met the standards that the government was looking for the soldiers on the battlefield. But it was Dr. Kedar Prasad. Look at what it says here in this first paragraph, this opening paragraph right there. And I think everyone should take the time to read this. It says, Dr. Prasad conducted 17 lectures to military scientists and worked with Congress for 2 years to gain approval for the funding necessary to complete the scientific validation process for MicroDaily. 6 years and 14 clinical studies later, Dr. Prasad successfully demonstrated that MicroDaily is indeed the world's most scientifically validated supplement. Do you understand that? 17 lectures to military scientists and worked with Congress for 2 years to get the funding to prove scientifically that this formula was not like any other formula anywhere in the world. 6 years of testing, 9 months safety testing on the IRB, that's the Military Internal Review Board right there. During that process, Dr. Prasad had to prove that there was no contraindications with any pharmaceutical drug. So in other words, a soldier could be on Lipitor, insulin, metformin, blood pressure medication, on and on and on and on and on and on and on. They could be on any of those medications. He had to prove that there was no contraindication. In other words, no conflict. They could be on blood thinners. They could be on psych meds for even. No contraindications. You want to know why? Because Dr. Prasad was simply providing the food that's missing from food. That's it. So how can it contradict with a drug? It's not a drug. It's just food, just micronutrients. And that's what happened. So by the year 2000, 2006, that's when it became available for humans. And the military used it and veterans had access to it as well. This is the brilliant man who pulled it off. This is the mind that did it. Dr. Kedar Prasad, Professor Prasad. is the one who did this. So he's got a storied background. You can see it there on the right-hand side of the screen. He's been published some 250 times, and he's authored, it says 29 books, but he's working on number 33 right now, even as we speak. So Dr. Prasad is a brilliant man, 88 years old, and he's still cranking out work. So that's what we're talking about right now. Brilliant man. So he partnered up with David Nemelka, and the company Engage Global came into the limelight. And because of this partnership right here, we have access to this product, MicroDaily. And you look at the label, folks, and it doesn't look like there's much anything there different than your multivitamin that you're taking right now, but don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. This ain't your mama's vitamin, and it's not your children's, but it's not the vitamin that anybody before you or after you will ever have access to. This one is just simply amazing. It's not normal. Again, but you look at the ingredients and it looks like it's just the same old, but it is not. I could sit here, we can go through every one of these ingredients, but I'm not going to do that. I want you just to pay attention to one thing. Well, maybe two things. This statement right here activates nerve 2. You see that? And here's another one, activates nerve 2. You see it? Here's another one, activates nerve 2. And yet another one, activates nerve 2. So 4 times, Dr. Prasad put ingredients in this product that activates nerve 2. Now you're saying to yourself, okay, am I supposed to know what nerve 2 is? That's a good thing, I'm guessing? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Can you see this little shaded area right here? You see that? It looks like a strand of DNA. Yeah, it's kind of the background image, a strand of DNA. Let me see if I can find another one. Here's another one right there, strand of DNA right there. If you look at a strand of DNA, it's a double helix, right? It goes something like this, right? Well, down on the bottom of it, on the bottom of the double strand of double strand helix of your DNA, what's there is something called telomeres. Okay? Part of being alive is that the cells divide. So cells die and cells divide. Every time that cell divides and makes a new cell, that's how we continue to live. Otherwise, we would just simply stop living because our cells were not replenishing themselves. Every single time that a cell replenishes itself, let's zoom in on that, on this bottom portion out here. Let's zoom in on that and assume this is that bottom part. Every time the cell divides, a little bit of the telomere shaves off. It divides again, and a little bit of the telomere shaves off. And over time, your entire lifetime, the telomere keeps shaving off over time. Guess what slows that process down? Nerve 2. That's what you said? I thought I heard it under somebody's breath. Nerve 2. Nerve 2 slows down the process of telomere loss. It slows the process down. So while it's slowing the process down, what do you think that means? It's actually helping us to live a little bit longer. But that in itself wouldn't be a big deal, right? Living longer. I remember asking a person one time if they had their choice about how long they wanted to live, or would they want to live forever? The person said no. And I said, really, why? They said because they didn't want to, they'd be miserable. Life would be they would just be suffering and miserable. That's where this product comes in. Because what it does is, as you heard from phobia at the very beginning, it changes how the body behaves. Because it's affecting not just nerve 2, it also, everything else here is having a major effect on something called oxidative stress. That's something else that's happening. It's reducing inflammation. So that means quality of life is being improved all at the same time. So not only that we have a chance of living longer. We have a better quality of life as we age. Now, we've had some discussions on anti-aging, and you can find some of those on my YouTube channel. Just go to youtubejonathan.com and you can find discussions on anti-aging or slowing the aging process down. And Dr. Prasad breaks this down. So don't take my word for it. You can hear this from Professor Prasad, and he does a much better job. My version of it is the elementary version of it. All right. I'm the fifth grader version of the science behind this. So believe you me when I say that. But this product is not normal. It's the only one that meets the CQF standard. There's no other product out there that has the right combination, the right quantity, and the right form of ingredients. The only one. All the others are synthesized. Most of the ingredients are synthesized in a lab somewhere. Not these. Dr. Prasad was not the one that was going to allow his product to just be made in some laboratory. He wanted it to be all natural. See, and I told you about the oxidative stress. There it is. See, oxidative stress. This is what it looks like, oxidative stress. So this is what your cell's supposed to look like. After it oxidizes and being bombarded with toxins, that's what happens to it. It starts to break it down. We literally start to rust from the inside out. It's like an apple starting to turn brown. Imagine that happening on the inside of your body, where your cells just become mushy. That's called aging. Telomeres getting shorter and shorter and shorter, less and less. After the telomere is all used up, that cell will no longer replicate. That is the end of life for that cell. It will simply die. And what happens if all of our cells die? We die. Not good. So what you want is something that's helping your body to replenish itself and slow down the process of telomere loss. That's where Nerve 2 comes in. That's where these ingredients are. Oh, I forgot to even tell you a couple other amazing things about this, like this N-acetylcysteine and this alpha lipoic acid and this CoQ10. Those all affect something called glutathione. Believe you me, that's a big deal. It's the body's master antioxidant. The body's master antioxidant. That's what really stops us from being able from rusting on the inside out. Dr. Prasad made a formula for kids. He made a formula specifically designed to help reduce the impact of 5G radiation. You notice the heading here? 5G radiation is 700 times more powerful than the original cell phone technology. 700 times more powerful. We're being slammed by radiation. EMF is a big deal. So it interrupts that process and helps us to repair our body's own DNA. CBD, I cannot say enough about CBD when it comes to anxiety. And every cell in the body, by the way, every cell in the human body has CBD receptors. Your body wants this. And the place that the S1 spike protein wants to occupy in the brain, that happens to be the same place that CBD receptors will go fill. So if you want to populate the receptors in your brain before a spike 1 protein tries to find its way there, this is what you want to have in your body. So take one in the morning and one in the evening, one or two at night before you go to sleep. You'll find yourself sleeping a lot deeper too, by the way. And here's more products that are available to the process. And you heard Fulvia mention Brain Boost. Woo, baby, let me tell you, that one right there is really something else. I take 2 of those in the morning. And I usually take 2 before I start these meetings in the evening. And boom, it's like somebody turn on, forget the flashlight, like someone turn on a floodlight. I can see. My brain just wakes up. So no fog, no struggling with memory loss issues, none of that. And I'm not a spring chicken, by the way. So just in case you're wondering, I just turned 61. So maybe to some of you, I might be a little bit young, but I feel the miles racking up on this body. But overall, I feel I have the energy that I had when I was in my 40s. And I feel I can do the things that I can do when I was in my 40s. So I know it's because of this product. That's just my personal comments on this. But this brochure will really help you if you take the time to take a look at it and understand what's going on in it. This it's packed with science and packed with details that would help you to help anyone to understand why this product is not normal. Okay. One last thing I just want to point out right here on this is because this is what made the difference in me becoming interested in this company and this product, because I had some other products that I thought were very, very good. None as good as this, none as validated as this, but they're pretty good. But this patent right here is the one that really got me. Patent number 7605145. The title is Micronutrient Formulations for Treatment of Diabetes Mellitus. You can't, the law won't allow me and you to put the word treatment for diabetes in the same sentence when it comes to any nutritional supplement. We can't do that. So we don't do that. The law does allow me to tell you that patent number 7605145 is entitled Micronutrient Formulations for Treatment of Diabetes Mellitus. I can legally tell you that that patent has that title. You have to draw your own conclusions about what that means. The fact that they put the word treatment with diabetes in the same title, you have to draw a conclusion as to what that means. But the original formula, MMF, was granted that patent by the United States government right here in this country. Isn't that pretty amazing? It should be. So it got my attention, and it made me want to tell other people about this amazing product. And then it turns out Dr. Prasad knows a little something about diabetes. He's written a book on it. And right now, his 33rd book is all about diabetes. So among the many other books that this man has written. So there you have it in a nutshell, folks. An amazing, amazing product that we're looking at right now. But I'd like to just share one more story with you that I think you should hear, because COVID is challenging. There's no question about it. And long COVID is really challenging. But you want to know one of the things that is really, really, really challenging for people is what's it called? Thyroid issues. Because it's very difficult to deal with a thyroid issue. But listen to as Elizabeth Henry tells her story about thyroid.
I actually just wanted to make a statement.
Okay, please.
In November, I started taking Microdaily EMF along with probiotics, Brain Boost, and Eye Boost. I was suffering from Graves' disease, which is hyperthyroidism. And I was taking methimazole, which is the least dangerous of all the medications that they have for that in the pharmaceutical world. I was toxic. It took down my white cell count, my red cell count, and also my platelets. And I was taking 40 milligrams a day. Now that I've been taking the Microdaily, nothing else, my blood work is normal. All of my numbers are great. And all of my thyroid numbers are normal. So I can vouch for the benefit that Microdaily can give you, even when it comes to the thyroid diseases. Those diseases are very difficult to treat. So I want people to know that.
Wow. And how much of the Microdaily are you taking?
But actually, Jonathan, I take 4 twice a day. I take 4 Microdaily EMFs in the morning and then 4 again in the evening.
Wow. That's just a little more than the recommended dosage for a problem that serious. That's pretty amazing.
And I might tell you, I was taking the minimum dosage to start with.
Wow. See, and just so everybody understands this, ordinarily, when someone has issues like Liz just described, I would have suggested that she double it up the same way that Virginia did. Double it up if you really want to see some benefits, but she got all the benefits that that she was looking for by just taking the normal amount. The normal amount, that's the amount that you give to a healthy 20-year-old.
I might add, when I went to my endocrinologist about 4 weeks ago, she wanted to take me off of the methimazole altogether, but just been a little bit cautious. She said, come back in 4 to 6 months and we'll just reduce. We're gonna reduce one of those days. By now I'm taking 20 milligrams a week of the methimazole when I was taking 40 milligrams per day, 7 days a week.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So that's really great for me.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that story.
Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not normal. That's not normal. But again, testimonials are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. Okay, so we always have to make sure that you understand that. And this has been for information and educational purposes only. You now have a better idea what Micro Daily is. We've done discussion.
I'm trying to wait for my things to come.
We've done discussions about what ancillary products Engage Global has produced, including collagen, eye boost, brain boost, and other things, especially for the gut. The probiotic is the best one in the world, and that's in my opinion. But get back with the person who invited you to this discussion, and they'll help you get access to these products. My recommendation is that you put yourself on subscription if you want to get the same discounted price that those of us who are affiliates get for the product. So just get yourself on subscription and you'll enjoy the benefits of that. They also have a great referral program too. So if you are a preferred customer and you refer someone, they'll give you matching credits toward additional product for whoever you refer to the product. So if you tell your significant other to start taking Micro Daily and the probiotic boost and the CBD, then the company will give you a matching credit. So you could purchase the same thing basically for free, just by rewards points for telling that. So they don't give just a $5 credit or $10 credit or $25 credit. They give you matching credit, for whatever the person purchases. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. You can get this stuff for free. So that's huge. That's huge. Okay, so let's just take a couple minutes because some of you may have a few questions about some of the things that were said, or you may have some issues that you've been wondering about and have never had a chance to ask about. So I'm going to stay off another 5 or 10 minutes here and give you a chance to ask your questions. Let me see if I can help you out with some of those things. Valerie, please go ahead. Unmute yourself and have at it.
Thank you for taking my call, my hand up. Okay, I was hoping that my cousin could come on tonight. I'm on the products, and I was hoping my cousin would come on tonight because we just found out yesterday that her mom was diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer. So I wanted her to come on, and she's also just recently diabetic. What is it? She has diabetes, but number one.
Uh-huh.
I definitely wanted her to, and she was really sick for a minute, not
Wow.
too long. So I wanted her to come on, but she was just getting off work and couldn't make it. So are there any other, I'm trying to just, because she gets off at 6 and coming home, she's, by the time she gets home, you're on, and it's kind of late for her to get on, but I really would like for her.
Oh, there's no problem, Valerie. Just are you on your computer right now?
No, I'm on my phone.
Okay, just type down my YouTube address is youtubejonathan.com and just go straight there and the recording is right there. So this entire meeting has been recorded.
But I think she probably have questions versus just listening, because I did share.
No problem. I'll be available on Friday evenings from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock to answer questions. Friday. And to help anybody. Yeah.
Online? On
this same Zoom channel.
Okay, 6 to 8 on Fridays? Okay. All right, thank you so much. And yeah. I also take it, and whether it's doing anything for me now, I don't know, but I have high blood pressure. I've had it for a minute, so I'm on meds. And I also, in November, was diagnosed with diabetes type 2. And it went from pre to diabetes. So the doctor wouldn't put me on meds. She said, I want you to see if you can control it and get it down. So I kind of cut down on what I was eating. I changed my eating habits, and I also was taking the Micro Daily. So when I went back in February,
she was just amazed. She was so excited and,
Well, look
and
at that.
yeah. So I'm hoping when I go back to her again, I will be done. It won't even happen.
Well, how much micro daily are you taking?
Well, I'm only taking 2 in the afternoon, well, 2 in the day and 2 during the evening. And then
And
I
which one? The original formula?
take the red, what is it, the red bottle, I think? Is that the original?
Yeah, no, if you're just taking 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening, you're taking about the amount that we might give to an infant or to a toddler.
Well, it's not enough.
No, you might want to go ahead and take a grown-up dose.
What's the grown-up dose?
3 capsules twice a day.
Okay. And then I also do the collagen, and I just recently started doing the probiotic. So those are the 3 things I take.
Very good. The collagen has an additional benefit of having an enzyme that literally helps your body respond better to the insulin that your body makes.
Mhm.
So it supports diabetics tremendously because there's something in collagen that they actually have as a drug, but now you're getting it naturally. So that's one of the best things you could be doing for yourself is taking the collagen. So very good.
Yep. Well, thank you very much. And I'll-
Just increase your amount of micro daily. And ordinarily, we would tell someone who's dealing with something like diabetes that not only should you take an adult dose first, all right? So let's just start right there.
Mhm.
Take a grown-up dose. But for those who have a chronic issue, typically you might want to add a dose. Even if you break the dosage up between the 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, half and half, that's fine. But some take it breakfast, lunch, and dinner, morning, noon, and night to when they're dealing with a problem like you do. So I'm 61. I have no health problems, but I usually take triple the amount in the morning and triple the amount in the evening. I take 9 in the morning and 9 in the evening because I don't want diabetes and I don't want to have inflammatory issues. So that's just me, so I don't think taking the normal amount, the regular amount is sufficient when you got a few extra miles on you. Okay.
Right. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
And Valerie, who's your sponsor?
Well, Rob Martin is.
Rob Martin. Okay. All right. Excellent. Rob's a good man. So yeah, just come on. And by the way, on Thursdays, if we also have meetings on Thursdays at 6 p.m. and on Fridays at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. open for questions for 2 hours. I'll be available for 2 hours. Okay.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your question.
I'm sorry, if my aunt, for my auntie, because like, again, we just found out. So they need to find out if it has spread it. Do you think that this is something that, not that we don't know if it will help her, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Something that she's 84, something she could take.
Dr. Prasad has written a paper and submitted an application for patent for microdaily EMF regarding its effectiveness in dealing with cancer, put it that way.
All right.
So there are observational studies and a lot of folks who have had abnormal cells in their body, even in the worst case, stage 4, and that have found that their body was able to fend it off. Once you add micronutrients, and Dr. Prasad found that there's 2 components in the product, cancer eats 2 different ways. This is like putting a sock in one mouth and putting a sock in the other mouth. So the cancer can't eat. So it ends up starving.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get her on.
Yeah, that'd be good. And we'll share some, there's some conferences, recordings specifically on cancer with Dr. Prasad on my YouTube channel. So just go to youtube.com.
Actually, I shared it with, I saw that one of them, and I did
Good.
share the ones with about the diabetes with my cousin, because and another friend who she had breast cancer and also rectal cancer.
Yeah.
So I've been sharing.
Very good.
My one friend that's in remission, she's taking the product.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. So happy to hear that, and hope that it continues to help out. But contact me, and I'll do what I can to help you. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
You're quite welcome. Thank you. Any other questions out there? Anyone? As you're taking the product, I want you to keep in mind what detox is, and because sometimes folks forget that. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, but there's something called Herxheimer effect or detox reaction that you can expect. So sometimes you will feel worse before you get better because you're undoing a lot of toxic elements in the body. And microdata can help to flush that and to neutralize that so you could potentially feel worse. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water while you're taking microdata. James, please go ahead, my friend. Don't forget to unmute, James.
I know in June they're coming out with the new hydro EMF. Now, because I'm switching over to that instead of the pills. And
Right.
my point is that I know it's gonna be a little more because it goes straight to the bloodstream. So I'm find out more about it because I know how important it is for me to take that.
Yep, very good. Very good. Thank you. That's a wise move, James. I've been taking hydro myself, the original formula, and it's powerful. So I can't wait until the hydro EMF version comes out. So looking forward to that. Christine Gaddy, you had a question or comment? Don't forget to unmute, Christine.
I did, Jonathan, but then I forgot when I was listening to James. I forgot what my question was. I hope it comes back to me. I didn't take the brain boost. I was listening to James. So I hope it comes back before you go off.
Oh, it'll come back. Just go find yourself a little brain boost real quick and douse a little bit of water. It'll be right back. All right.
Okay.
All right. Good. And Joyce Lee.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you. I had someone that shared with me since they've been taking the Micro Daily. I think they take the Brain Boost and the Eye Boost too. But since they've been taking it, their family members are complaining, saying that they have a musty odor. I chalked it up to that word you just used. When you say you get worse than better, I hadn't heard that word before, but I remember Jeff saying it's called
Herxheimer effect. Herxheimer effect or detox reaction.
Right. So I told her that's all was going on with her, is that she's detoxing. So I gave her some ideas on deodorizing and keeping wipes with her and that sort of thing. So am I on the right track?
You're dead on point. You're dead on point. How is she taking a high dose or just a normal amount?
I think she's taking a normal amount. I told her to up the dose.
Yeah, it'll push it out now. It'll push it out, and yeah, you could kind of stink up the place a little bit. But see, toxins are going into our body every single day, and we don't even realize that we have toxins that have accumulated in our liver, in our kidneys, and in our bloodstream. We don't even realize that. For years, I've been taking this product, and just between us, as if this is private, seeing how it's being broadcast all over the internet right now. I increased my dose, and when I went to the higher dose for about 2 or 3 weeks, no question about it. It was as if I was not wearing deodorant,
Right.
and it was something was happening, and it was unusual. It was an absolutely abnormal amount of detox. So that happened when I went to the higher amount. So I actually was happy to find that out, because that meant that there was toxins in my body that I'd missed, that I hadn't quite gotten to yet. So I'm glad I put a beat down on them. And I had another client out in California who kept saying, "Why do I stink so bad?" I said, "I don't know. What are you eating?" But it's not what she was eating, it's what she was, and the toxin just had to come out. So that's the best thing that could be happening to her. is that she's kind of smells a little bit. So
Yeah, I strongly emphasize to her, no matter what her family says, do not stop taking it.
yeah,
I said, you're
that's
going to
it.
be happy at the end. And then she had me to talk to her mom. And after I talked to her mom, she was like, I never heard it like that. And I was very direct. And I said, look, I understand what you're saying. I said, but you know, she has eye problems. You know, she has, what's that, vertigo. I said, you know, she has to go to work. So would you rather for her to have an accident out there or something or get better? She said, oh, I didn't look at it like that. I said, well, to myself, that's why you're talking to me. So her mom apologized to me, which she didn't have to apologize to me, but I guess, you know, how she was feeling. I said, no, she'll be all right. Just let her do what she's doing.
That's
So,
it.
that's all we can
Increase
do.
the amount of water. Make sure that she's drinking plenty of water so that the perspiration and the toxins have somewhere to go.
Mhm.
And some have asked, okay, well, what's the correct amount of water? Is it just 8 to 10 glasses of water? Is that what it is? Yes and no. The correct amount of water is half your body weight in ounces. So if a person weighs 150 pounds, they should drink 75 ounces of water a day. So just do the math and calculate it. So how many bottles is that of water? If they're using bottles like this, or if they're using it, pouring it, how much is that? How many glasses is that for that person? Because everyone's different. You know, someone who weighs close to 200 pounds needs more water than a woman who weighs 120 pounds. It's just different. Too much water is just as bad as not enough.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
you're quite welcome, and thank you for raising the question.
Mhm.
And we're almost out of time here, but Bob, go ahead. You got the last word on this. I hope it's quick. Don't forget to unmute, Bob. Oh, and Christine Gaddy just had a brain came back. Go ahead, Christine, while Bob trying to unmute. Unmute.
Is sleep, being sleepy,
Uh-huh.
a detox?
Is sleepy when a person's
No, not
sleepy?
just being sleepy. Not sleeping when you lay down, but just being sleepy.
Yeah, that could be a sign of
Like
detox.
all the
Yeah,
time.
fatigue.
Like, yeah. I'm like, you know, it's me.
Mhm.
I'm not tired. I'm just sleepy. I'm just feel sleepy all the time.
Some people, the brain starts to reconcile unreconciled issues,
Okay.
and it starts to make you feel lethargic and
Yeah.
start to shut down. That can happen, and that could happen for about 2 or 3 weeks. It could go on.
Okay.
So the best way to deal with it is take more, increase the dose,
Okay.
and make sure you're taking brain boost. I double up on the brain boost personally. I take 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jonathan.
You're quite welcome. Thank you. Thank you. All right, folks.
I think
So,
am I unmuted now?
there you are, Bob. Go ahead.
No, one thing I was saying about as you mentioned the smell, right?
Yeah.
How about chlorophyll? I mean, would that help with that? I've recommended that to some people sometimes to use chlorophyll.
Eating chlorophyll.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay, Jocelyn, you heard that. So recommend to your friend to take some chlorophyll. How should she take it, Bob?
They usually tell you on the bottle if you buy it, like if you buy the pills or the dropper, because you can take it in drops, or you take it using some capsules. They usually tell you, so you follow what direction, or even up it if you need to. But if what they tell you don't work, you take a little bit.
Take a little extra.
Yeah.
Right.
All right,
Okay.
very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, everybody. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much for joining us. And listen, I'll be on Thursday evening. If you've got guests who need to understand how the product works, you bring them back here on Thursday. And we want to hear your stories on Thursday. All right, so come back with your stories on Thursday evening, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. And if you're in my group, Friday is from 6 to 8. You got my undivided attention, all right? You guys have a good night, everybody.
Good night, Jonathan. Good night. Thanks,
Thank you,
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Thanks, everybody.